Hi, it's Alaska Granny. I've been spending a lot of time out of my granny camp, which is my Alaska off-grid cabin, and thinking about all of the areas of preparedness. I thought I would share with you the 12 areas of preparedness that I decided I needed to concentrate on, make sure that I'm fully prepared, whether I'm sheltering in place, staying in my home, or if I had to bug out, or I was away from home. How can I make sure that I have all the things that I need to take care of the responsibilities of keeping myself and my family in safety and well cared for, no matter what comes along? The first area of preparedness is water. We know we need to store all of the water that we can. You can buy water already in bottles, set it aside, have it ready when you need it. You can also clean out some used containers and refill those with water. If you want to reuse a container, make sure that it's HDPE or has a number 2 recycle on it, that it's food safe, designed only for food, and is sturdy enough that it's going to last. Something like a milk jug is not sturdy, it's not going to last, and should never be used to store things away. The same with something you've had a strong odor like juices. It's almost impossible to get rid of the flavor and all of the bacteria from something that held a strong liquid. But you can find things like pop bottles, flavored waters, and rinse them out with hot soapy water. Sterilize or disinfect containers after you've washed them well with a teaspoon of bleach for every quart of water. Swirl it all around, let it sit for a little bit, pour it out, and then your container is ready to be filled with safe water from the tap. You can set those aside in a cool, dark, dry place. Make sure it's dark because light causes bacteria to grow in water, and you don't want mold, mildew, fungus, algae, or any of that growing within your water source. Then check them every 6 months or so. Dump them out and replace them if you need to. You can get some large containers at the store, 5-gallon, 50-gallon even. Store lots of water in that depending on your space. Have some water stored in a grab-and-go container near where your emergency bug-out supplies are, so if you had to leave in a hurry, you could grab a 6-pack of water and easily take it with you. Learn how to filter water and purify water. Have those supplies with you in your emergency gear. The next area of preparedness is food. Fill your pantry with shelf-stable, long-lasting foods that are easy to open and eat, foods that are familiar to you and that your family is willing to eat. Look for things that are a range of foods, from peanut butter, crackers, cereal, canned fruits, meats, vegetables, canned entrees and things like soup and chili that are easy to eat, simple to prepare, and they're fast and filling. And when you get a good supply of those, then you may want to consider getting some of the long-term foods, such as rice, beans, oatmeal, in larger containers, or even buy a pre-packaged kit of food from one of the long-lasting food companies that is designed for the long-lasting emergency long-term food storage. If you're storing canned goods, have can openers. Make sure you also have some emergency food with your bug-out bag so that you have a few days worth of emergency food. If you need to evacuate, you still need to have something that's nutritious and ready to eat. Include in your meal plans food for infants and food for any pets that you have. Now that you have a stockpile of food, how are you going to cook it in an emergency? Do you have a camping stove, something like a propane stove, a butane stove, or even a wood stove in your house? Do you have a gas grill or a charcoal barbecue? Those can be ways you can heat up food in an emergency if there's no power in your home. Maybe you even have a fire pit in your backyard. If you had to leave your home, make sure you have some sort of an emergency or a camping backpacking stove. Stock up on some MREs. Those come with a little packet inside of them that heats the food for you, contained within some of the modern MREs. You can also look for gadgets that truckers use. They make little ovens and crock pots that plug in your car. Make sure that you have a pot that you can use on an outdoor stove, some utensils, and don't forget a little bit of soap. Things we have on hand at home and you may not have on hand if you had to leave and go and cook in the out of doors. A campfire is a great way to heat up food as well. The next area of preparation is shelter. You have secured your home, that you have nice locks, that the windows can be secured, and then if something should damage your home, maybe you're going to need some plastic sheeting and some duct tape to put over a window that's broken. Maybe you need some plywood, some hammer and nails, things to make sure that your house is secure. Your home should have been damaged in some sort of a weather or natural disaster event. What if you had to leave your home? Maybe then you need to think about having a tent. Maybe you know of a bug-out location. Make sure you have lots of cash on hand so that you could actually go and stay in a hotel. Know where you would go in the event of an emergency. Just make a plan. Where could you go that was 10 miles away, 100 miles away, 200 miles away? Think of some choices before you need to figure out where to go. Make a plan for how you would get to those places. If you have pets, know where you could bring them or where you could leave them safely so that you could shelter somewhere else. There are always hotels, campgrounds that allow you to bring your pet, but if you can't find one of those, maybe there's a trusted friend or relative who would watch your pet for you while you went to a place that did not allow you to bring your pet. Never leave them behind. They're a member of the family and they deserve to be cared for as much as you do. If you've ever had your water stop working for any length of time, sanitation becomes a problem right away. Consider getting a portable toilet and some supplies so that you can use it. Get some plastic bags, get some plastic gloves, kitty litter, hand sanitizer, wet wipes, and always a big supply of toilet paper. Have some antibacterial soaps. And if you had to leave your home, once again, you're going to need to figure out where you're going to go to the bathroom. You're going to need a portable toilet and the same thing. Plastic bags, hand sanitizer, and wet wipes. What if you can stay in your home, but there was a flood, something backed up, and your home became damaged or contaminated? You need a cleanup kit. Get a 5-gallon bucket and stockpile it with soaps, antibacterials, disinfectants, some rags, paper towels, sturdy rubber gloves, a cleaning brush, a broom, things that you would need to clean up your house in an event of some big mess. Make sure you have lots of very heavy-duty plastic trash bags. This is not the time when you would want something that isn't the sturdiest plastic bag you can have. Look for the sturdiest trash bags possible for your emergency and survival needs. Another area of preparedness is first aid. Start with a well-made, well-put-together first aid kit. Then you can stock it up with extra supplies that you think you need. If you take prescription medication, make sure you have some of those with your emergency supplies. Keep a copy of your prescription so that in a real emergency, you could go to a pharmacy and you would be able to get some more if something happened to the ones that you rely on. If you wear glasses, make sure you keep an extra pair. And if you have something like a hearing aid, make sure that you keep extra batteries with you. Learning how to give first aid can actually be the difference between life and death. Study basic first aid procedures and how to take care of yourself and those around you. Another area of preparedness is tools. You need basic tools around your home. You need things like knives, hammers, shovels, pliers, screwdrivers, multi-tools, pry bar. If you have natural gas, learn how to turn it off in an emergency and have a wrench that works for that purpose. A fire extinguisher should be in everyone's toolkit must-have list, and maybe a big pair of cutters in case you needed to break something like a chain. You had to leave your home, you may need things like an axe and a shovel, a saw. Get a nice supply of duct tape, zip ties, super glue, nails, and screws. Those could all be very handy in a whole array of situations. Communication is an important area of preparedness. Everybody needs some sort of way to communicate. Maybe you want a battery-operated radio or one that you can wind up. You need to be able to find out what's going on. Walkie-talkies to communicate with your family when cell phones aren't working. A NOAA weather emergency alert radio, or even a ham radio. Power is an important area of preparedness. Maybe you want to get a solar panel. You can get a portable one. You can get big arrays of them installed in your house. With even just a simple solar panel, you can charge up some of your electronics. You can use them to power up external batteries, which then can be used to power other devices. Get a cord that allows you to charge up your electronics in your car. Have a wall adapter as well. You can travel to a place where there is power and you could charge up your electronics that way. You might consider having a generator, and if nothing else, have lots of spare batteries that fit the things like flashlights that you count on having and using. Lighting is the next area of preparedness. Everything from flashlights, make sure you have batteries, to candles, make sure you have lighters and matches. Oil lamps, make sure you stockpile the fuel, the wicks, and a way to light it. Stock up on some solar lights. You can get simple dollar ones that go into your yard, solar lanterns that are designed for camping. Lighting can be as simple as some glow sticks, a campfire. Heat is an important area of preparation, especially if something should happen in the winter. You need a way to have some backup heat in your home. Do you have a wood stove? Propane heater like a Mr. Buddy? Do you have a way to use a generator to run your furnace or other small heater in your area, a space heater? Dress in layers. Get a hot water bottle. If you get a portable heater, stock up on the fuel and carefully read the instructions so you don't become a victim of carbon monoxide poisoning. A lot of those heaters need to still be in a ventilated area, so a carbon monoxide detector should be part of your emergency heat plan if you don't already have one installed in your home at all times. Should you have to evacuate, don't forget, keep your car full of gas. You can run the engine for short bursts of time, heat up the car, which will help keep you warm. Keep some of the emergency survival blankets. They reflect the heat back to you and keep it in. Learn to make an emergency car can heater where you put a can with a roll of toilet paper and add some alcohol. A large stack of hand warmers can really be an asset on a cold winter emergency. The most important area of preparedness is planning. You need to make a plan way ahead of time. What do you need? How will you use it? Where would you go? How would you get there? When to evacuate? When is it safe to go? Which way should you travel? And most of all, how to stay safe. Make a plan so that you know ahead of time that you have the things you need. You know what you would do in many different circumstances. You know where you would gather and meet with your family if an emergency occurs when you're not together. And that you know how to be as safe as you can to have the most positive outcome in any situation. So look over your supplies, your plans, your ideas, and figure out if you have the things that you need in each of these 12 areas of preparedness. Make the time to think about each area at a time, because proper preparation can be as simple as a little at a time. We don't expect anyone to be able to accomplish everything in a huge task like that in a day. Preparedness is a lifestyle choice. It's something you do it all the time. And as you gather the things you need, you learn new skills, you have ideas in your mind of how you would cope no matter what happens, you're going to have the best outcome that's possible in almost every situation. Learn more at alaskagranny.com. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.